But how do you actually think about coming up with this type of software at that time? Because at that time it was more about creating more durable scooters, which also happens with the swappable batteries and so on. But your team decided not to focus on the hardware, and the software was kind of like all the same, right? It was all white label software and so on. But you looked at it in a different way in terms of software by using I don't know, like vision and stuff like that. I think you also
Yeah,
have
so,
like
so we
cameras.
just
So
got.
it's
I think if you look at the if you look at start a business guides or a 101, or if you read some of the blog posts or watch stuff on YouTube, it always says focus on the problem. So for us, the first problem was, well, the scooters are going too quickly on the sidewalk. It's dangerous, right? So that's the problem. So how do we fix that? What we thought was the first solution was very high accurate positioning, right? That we could know exactly where the scooter was, and we worked on that for about 6 months. And whilst we got kind of promising results in our trials, we realized it was going to fail because you run out of signal. The mapping challenge is too high. So we kind of quickly realized that high accuracy positioning wouldn't fix the scooter sidewalk riding and pedestrian detection challenges. So we had also been working on vision, and that was part of our roadmap. And then we said, okay, this is going to be the main way to go. And really that's what we found is with a camera system you can offer the full and complete solution. You can get it right. It can work when you have no signal. It can work in all kinds of conditions. It can work in any city.
yeah.
We've been testing all over the world now, and yeah, we're getting pretty good results. Very very high accuracy numbers
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
Actually, with the solution that you provide, you kind of like have to work with not only the operators, but I think also have to be in discussions with the city, because you need to, I guess, adjust to what the city wants. Like you mentioned at the beginning, you were kind of like looking at, okay, what will the city require later on with regulations and so on. So you were kind of like anticipating what the policies could be. So I guess you're also in discussions with cities, and I guess
Yeah.
also with hardware providers, because you need to have access to their hardware to be able to implement your solution, right? So you actually have to collaborate with the three main players
Yeah,
or
so really it's an ecosystem. So we see ourselves as almost trying to partner with everybody. So we have the operators, right? The companies that put the scooters on the street. We see them probably as our if we said who's our customer. But you're right, we completely have to work with the city. I guess in the early stages and where we are, we have to let them know that the technology is available, what it can do, how it works, all of those things. So we do that. We have to collaborate with the vehicle manufacturers, which we do. And then also a very, very important person to consider is the rider on the scooters, right? Because we want them to enjoy the experience. We don't want to reduce the rider experience in any way by putting this safety technology on. So all of those things are in our mind as we kind of go forward. We develop our technology and try to find a way. Really, what we see is this huge potential for shared micromobility, because we've had a huge wave of VC-led growth. Up until this point, the economic conditions are tougher now, so it's going to be harder for people to get a huge investment. So we really need to collaborate right through the industry, and we need the city to collaborate with us as well. That'll be an interesting thing to talk about in Paris in a second. But we all need to kind of work and go forward together to find the solutions that can unlock growth in a way that makes sense for everybody, right? That it's profitable and that it gives a good service.
Yeah, correct. Now, if you look at some challenges that our industry has been facing, some of the main discussed challenges around this time are the parking issues, which is a big discussion in Brussels, for example. But I assume in Paris it is also a big discussions. riding e-steps on not on the road or riding them dangerously on pedestrian areas. I guess this is where your solution comes in as a company. Can you explain a little bit, maybe in less technical terms, because we do have some, government officials listening to the podcast as well, what your company and what your solution could mean for these type of challenges that are being faced in Brussels and in Paris when it comes to the parking issues, accidents, people riding with 2 or 3 people on e-scooters. Actually, today on the news in Belgium, I saw a video clip of 5 people riding one e-scooter. So these
That's
are
not
really
easy. They must have been small people, but
they were actually like circus people, and it was I guess
okay.
for like a
Yeah,
promo
no,
or something.
that's not easy. Yeah. So
Acrobats.
yeah, well, let me talk about what we do. Really, our core capability is around computer vision, AI, machine vision. All of those names get used, and then we do really 2 things. The first one, and probably the one that we're most famous for, is putting a camera onto the scooter, and then that camera can detect a few different things. It can detect the road surface that the vehicle is on. So is it on the sidewalk, on the bike lane, or on the road? We also detect pedestrians. So if we're in a busy pedestrian area or there's a risk of a collision, we can detect that and highlight it. So we use that on the camera, and that technology is now becoming quite mature and working really, really well. We're getting, as I said, very, very good results all over the world. The second solution that we offer in the shared micromobility space is is parking technology. So everybody who's used the scooter is familiar with the end of ride photo or the end of ride selfie that we call it. We've been applying AI computer vision techniques onto those photos to help give better parking scores. So we can tell, for example, the most basic example is, hey, is there a scooter in this photo at all, right? Maybe somebody took a picture of their foot or something because they thought nobody will look at it. So that's the most basic level, but then we can go right through the sophistication, and we can tell, okay, well, is this a scooter that our company owns in the picture? Is there many scooters? If it's a case where we have designated parking, is it within the painted lines? Is it on the sidewalk? Is it blocking yellow lines? We can detect things like manholes, we can detect doors, we can detect walls, and then we use all of those elements to generate a parking score, and then to nudge riders and operators towards better parking outcomes. So the technology really is there to fix these problems, and yeah, I think again it's about collaborating, right? I think
Exactly.
in Belgium and Brussels, what I would love to see there is more designated parking. I feel like there's not enough, and my understanding of the market, which is quite remote, but is that there's a number of different kind of regions or areas in the city, and it makes it difficult for everybody to agree and have a uniform system.
Yeah.
That's not
That is Belgium.
uncommon, right? It's probably the same all over Europe, all over the world, that you have these things. So that's really one of the challenges that the industry has to overcome, is these vehicles go right through the city, and yeah, the users don't understand that 100
Yeah.
meters this way I'm in one municipality, and 100 meters that way I'm in another. We need kind of uniformity across the cities. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And